Hi, I'm Greg from Jayline Fires. Today we're going to be running through the operating instructions for the UL200 ultra low emission fire. Now this is a downdraft style fire, so it operates a little differently to most conventional wood fires, but we're going to take you through all of the steps to make sure you get a great running experience every time when you burn it. Now when you get your fire, you're going to obviously have what's in the casing here, but you're also going to receive a little box like this. It's going to have 4 little reusable fire lighters in there. Now what we've done is we've just filled that container up with methylated spirits, and those blocks inside there are going to act as your reusable fire lighters. So after you've done your initial burn, these will be remaining in the ash bed at the top, so you can take them out of the fire, plop them back in here away from the fire when you're not using it, and these will serve as the fire lighters for the next evening again. So what we're going to do is we're going to place these equally spread around the downdraft cylinder in the top chamber of the wood fire there. Once we've placed those in there, we're going to safely put the methylated spirits away from the fire. And we're going to start loading our kindling in. Now, as per your operating instructions, you need to have 16 pieces of kindling cut to 300 length, and this is 1 kilogram of fuel here. So we're doing this actually the way that the fire was tested at the lab for emissions and efficiency and safety operations as well. So we've just completed putting the kindling wood inside here. We used a cross-stack pattern of 4 pieces over 4 pieces to use the full 16. Now for safety we're using a long reach lighter as well. Great way to reach the back blocks of the wood fire with the methylated soaked blocks, and it just means that you don't have to get your hands right in there. It's a nice safety addition. So we're going to light that now, get it underway. We're closing that door right up. Now the UL200 doesn't need to have the door left ajar. Basically once you've got all of that fuel lit, closing that up, it's going to draw correctly using its own automated system of air control. With most wood fires, once you're doing the startup process, the colder surfaces inside the fire make the smoke condense a little faster. So in this portion, you will see some smoke coming through the chimney just as that smoke is warming the colder steel surfaces inside the firebox. Once you've actually got the fire running hotter, it's much more efficient and it burns visually clearer. So we'll come back in a few minutes once it's time to put on that next intermediate load of fuel. Okay, so we've reached the point 5-6 minutes into the operation where we've got that kindling well alight now. It's time to put on that first intermediate load of fuel as per your operating instructions. It's really important when we open the door to disengage the bypass and just allow those gases to exit before we draw the door open slowly, just so that we don't get too much smoke or flame spillage into the room. Great, so whenever you're opening that wood fire box, in the event you've got a lot of fuel loading in there, there's going to be some smoke and flame spillage, but realistically, if you've got fuel in there and it's burning away, you shouldn't need to open the door. This is just during the startup process where the unit's getting warm. This is where it's going to start to reach most efficiency and full function. We'll come back again in a few minutes once the second intermediate load's ready to go forward. Okay, so we've now had the fire running for about 12, 13, 14 minutes, so we're now going to put on the next load of intermediate fuel. So again, we're going to allow that door just to crack and open, let it equalise before we pull the door open slowly to reduce the amount of smoke and flame spillage. So you'll see now that the fire's started to downdraft on its own. That'll happen at different points depending on your fuel loading, the environment, whether the fire was really cold when it started, but normally all fires should have started downdrafting within about 20 to 25 minutes. This is where it starts to enter the cleanest phase of the burn cycle, and from here we can now start to use our larger pieces of fuel and run the fire just like you would any other wood fire. Really simple mechanism on this. All of the heat output is controlled by how much fuel you put in. So once you've taken the chill off your room, essentially you can control how warm or how hot the room gets through your fuel loading, and that's the best way to control this wood fire. So the UL200 harnesses the ability to produce radiant heat through the glass as well as convection air through the room as well. So what's happening in this burn process at the moment is you're getting the regular burn in the top chamber, and the gases that are burned in the lower chamber are essentially harnessed inside of that smoke. So it's full of hydrocarbons and other combustible gases, which the UL200 in this case is burning as a secondary fuel source, and that's creating another about 1,000 degrees up in that lower chamber there, and that'll basically make the fire put out a huge amount more heat. And also in the rear of the fire you've got the heat shield, which basically draws the cool air in from the room, goes around the firebox and then projects out into the room. So that's where you're going to get the best balance of radiant heat output as well as convection heat into the room. But with the 79% efficiency on the UL200, that means that for every kilogram of fuel that you put on the fire, you're getting more kilowatts of heat output. So this is a fire that's really going to get your room up to temperature very quickly, and it's going to put out a really comfortable heat, certainly within 20 to 30 minutes of operation. For more information on the Jayline operation, for the troubleshooting, for the cleaning and service information, check out jayline.co.nz under manuals and technical and search for UL200. Thanks very much.